You will notice today I will be linking self-image and self-love with manifestation. I like to call it creation, okay? To give you an idea of where this is going today. So let's start with the neuroscience foundation. There's 4 parts to this neuroscience foundation. Part 1. We ready? Part 1 is the brain is a prediction machine, just on repeat. It is just a prediction machine. Okay. For example, I'm going to share a story, then I'm going to share what the fuck the story means. When I used to pro dance, I would kill it in class. I would kill it at performances. I would kill it after I booked the dance job, and I would kill it at competitions. But anytime I went to go to an audition, it was like I never learned how to fucking dance a day in my life. Like my brain just literally fucking forgot. Because there was one time at one audition, the first one I ever went to, it was a So You Think You Can Dance audition. And I got so nervous because I put the TV show and I put the people all on a pedestal that I literally couldn't even do like a single turn when I could normally do like 5 in a row. Like, if you know, like a 5, you know, if you were a dancer, you know what I'm saying. And I couldn't even get a single turn out the day of this audition when I was 19. It was in New York City. Emma was there. Oh my God, me and Emma went together. We're standing outside. It's freezing fucking cold. We're outside for 5 hours and our bodies are so cold. Our feet are so cold. We walk in and there's so many people. And like all these people are just as good and better than you. And you come up from your hometown and you're like the best one there. Then you go to New York City and you live there and you dance there and everyone's better than you slash just as good. No one's really worse, right? So you go in and it's chaotic. All these people, whatever. Long story short, they put you in groups of 5. We go and we do this dance, this choreography. No, it wasn't choreography. We freestyled, I think, at first. We freestyled in front of these judges. They weren't the judges you see on TV. You got to go through rounds to even get to those. So we freestyle in front of these judges and I literally forget how to dance. Like it's like I never had dance training ever, ever in my life. And from then on, every single audition from there, I just fucked up. I couldn't remember the choreography. I couldn't get my tricks right. I couldn't like get into it. I got in my head. And even though I could in class, I was fine. Performing, I was fine. Once I booked the dance job, I was fine. But every audition from there forward, I started to fuck it up. Now, here's what is happening. Your brain is kind of like a fortune teller, okay? It's always trying to guess what's going to happen next. So it can keep you safe and save your energy, essentially. But here's the problem. It doesn't guess the future. It's going to guess what's going to happen based on what happened in the past. So dancing, it's not going to go for me, oh, you'll have a really good audition today. It's going to be really good. It's going to go, no, you fucked up that first one. So now you're going to fuck up this one. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to fuck that one up. Well, now I have proof that I fucked it up. So now I'm creating an ingredient, but to work against me. I'm creating an ingredient that says I fuck up at dance auditions. No one sees how good I am. And then I'm proving it to myself. So I'm creating an ingredient, except it's working the opposite way of how we actually want ingredients to work. So the brain does not guess what's going to happen in the future. The brain guesses and creates bias on what's familiar, what's happened in the past. Okay, so there's a part of our brain called the reticular activating system. Reticular activating system. That kind of works like a security guard, think like you're at a concert, there's a security guard. And they decide like, do you have a ticket to get in? Can you get in? Are you VIP? Or are you trying to sneak in? Are you a weirdo? Like, do you have guns? Like what's going on? They are filtering who gets into the concert, right? The security guard decides what gets in and what goes out. That is like our reticular activating system. If you tell that security guard, only let in things that prove I'm not good enough, what's going to happen? You're going to just only let in things that prove that you're not good enough. If you tell a security guard at the concert, only let in people who are over 5'9" feet tall, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's random, but for whatever reason, They're only going to let people in who are over 5'9" tall. It doesn't matter if there's a 5'4" person there who's like a great fan and like really wants to go and is gonna promote the concert or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. They've been told to only let in people who are 5'9", and so that's the only person who's going to get let in. That's the same with our brain. If we decided that we are not good enough at whatever it is, at being hot, at being attractive, at making money, at teaching what we teach, at our job, at being a good relationship partner, at whatever it is, if we've decided I'm not good enough, that's all you are going to now see. It's like when you get a you get a new pair of shoes, and then you never noticed the shoes before, but now you see the shoes everywhere, and now you notice them. Or like you hear a new song, you never heard that song before, but now you fucking hear it everywhere. I dated someone in LA I was like 20 when I was like 20 through 22, and he had an bright orange Mustang. And I never noticed Mustangs before, but then once we started dating, I noticed them everywhere because I'd be like, oh my God, is that him? And then when we broke up, then I also noticed them even more everywhere because I was like hyper fixated on like not running into him. So, or maybe I wanted to run into him subconsciously. So you start to just notice things that you didn't even think about before. Okay. So knowing this, what do you think? And I want to know in the chat, what do you think this manifests in your life? Let's say this is running, your brain is running on not enough, not enough. Not, I didn't do that enough. I didn't show up enough here. I wasn't a good friend enough there. What is that creating in your life? How are people treating you then? Like what situation, circumstance, events do you think that's creating in your life? And I'll pull up the chat here. Yeah, more not enough, but how? How is it creating more not enough? If let's see, financial issues, totally. Because if you feel not enough, then people will not feel like you're good enough to pay you. People will feel like you're not good enough to get the raise. Good. Low self-esteem. Totally. Totally. I love these. See if you can think of specific things. So, someone you liking, wanting to date someone else. Yes. That's a very good one. Being cheated on. Yes. Uh-huh. Losing all job opportunities. Yep. My partner puts me last. Yep. Nothing you do is enough for your relationship. Yep. People not signing. Oh, they're coming so fast. Okay, let's see. People. Oh, I lost that one, but that was good. Really good, you guys. Really good. These are all great examples. So, not you feeling not enough is going to just what happens is we have a thought, and the thought creates a belief system, and that belief system creates a neural pathway. That neural pathway runs our subconscious and our thoughts and our beliefs run our actions that we take, and all of those things combined write a script into our creator field. And then that script that gets written is based on what we think about ourselves, what we believe to be true about ourselves, the actions we take on a daily basis. That writes a script. And then everyone else around you, people, places, situations, circumstances, events are going to act out that script back to you. We already know this from the podcast episodes, right? Okay, so essentially, the brain's number one job is efficiency. It is not truth. Okay, it does not show you reality as it is. It's showing you the reality that it predicts it to be based on your past experiences of what you've decided to believe to be true before. Okay. The reticular activating system is like it keeps our attention. It's like a gatekeeper of our attention. Okay. Out of the billions of parts of information around us that are happening every second, it only lets in a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction through, right? What it lets in is based on your beliefs. So you could feel not enough, and someone could be, oh my gosh, we have this friend, and she is like stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, so talented. But her self-image is so reticular activating system, like the opposite way of what it should be. So when you compliment her, she literally like is like, are you sure? Are you sure? No, you don't mean that. And she can't even take in the compliment. And we have a joke now, and she knows the joke. And I'll name her Shelly for just to not out anyone. But well, a joke around our friend group is don't Shelly me right now. Like, don't Shelly me. If we compliment someone and they start to question, we're like, don't Shelly me right now. And because what she's doing is she can't even, she's so deep in not feeling good enough that you can't even compliment her because she won't even be able to take it in. So if you don't feel good enough, people's compliments will not work on you. Like you can't fill that void with other people's compliments or getting the raise or getting the car, or you see a lot in the manifestation world, people being like, let's manifest the Lamborghini, let's manifest this and this. And you're working on manifesting all these outside things, but these outside things are never going to fill you. They're never going to fill the void. Okay. It's just not what happens. And we'll get to that part in like the energetic part of this soon. Now, part two of the neuroscience foundation is memory, emotion, and ourself. Memory, emotion, and ourself. I want you to think of your brain as like malleable, like silly, like Play-Doh, like Play-Doh. And it shapes, your brain's going to shape itself based on what you keep repeating in your life. This is what is called neuroplasticity. The more you think or do something, the more your brain wires it in. Kind of like, you know how if you live around snow and you're driving a car and the first car to drive on the snow, it's like a little bit harder to drive. But then there's another car that comes and drives through that same path and it's like a little easier. Then there's another car that comes drives through that same path and it's a little easier. It's like you're carving out a path and it gets easier and easier to drive each time, the more times you drive it. That's how our brain works. The more you do or think something, the more you are training your brain to just make it become what's called a non-declarative memory, which is just how you are. It's just how your subconscious works. And when something happens that has a lot of emotion, like you get embarrassed or you get rejected or failure happens, it carves and we get emotionally connected to it. It carves a super deep path in our brain, neural pathway. And that's because of our brain kind of has like an alarm system. And it's what's the alarm system is the amygdala in the brain. And it tags it as important. So it's like, oh, you got rejected last time you public spoke, so don't do it again because it's trying to keep you safe. So don't public speak again because you got rejected last time. Don't do it again or else you're going to get hurt. Or it's kind of like, oh, last time you tried to make your life better, it didn't work. So don't try and do it again because it won't work. Who here has had, what's like a realization? What's a thing you've had running? What's your amygdala been trying to protect you from? I want to know in the chat. So for example, while I wait for the chats to come in, if you kept getting like picked last for fucking dodgeball in gym class, right? Your brain might wire in, I'm not chosen, or even I'm not athletic. That's a very specific one, but like, I'm not athletic, I'm not chosen. And over time, your brain starts to build this literal whole entire self-image from these emotional moments. And it becomes like a scrapbook, like a playbook of who you are. So it's not just that, and you're not chosen in gym class anymore, right? It's that you're not chosen in relationships. You're not chosen for the raise. You're not chosen to be the person people buy from in your business. They go buy from someone else. You're not chosen to be the person that, gets committed to. You're not chosen to be the person who looks hot all the time, right? It just keeps going and going and it starts to fall into every area of life. How we feel in one area of life about one thing starts to fall and trickle down to every area of life. So I want to know examples, and I'm going to check the chat now of how you have experienced this. It's scary being open. That's a good one. I never got the center spot in dance performances. I was always left on center. Yep. So that just makes you feel like, again, not good enough, like not the center of attention, not magnetic. Yep. And then that runs and when you go into social settings, you're with friends and now you feel like your friends aren't choosing you, or you feel like you go out and the guys aren't looking at you, or then they do, but then they're like you catch their attention and then they kind of go away, or they ghost, not chosen in castings, and even is going to the next round not chosen. Really good, you guys. The chubby sister. Yep, not being invited out. I just keep, oh, I lost that one. Being spoken over. Totally. And so the more you're spoken over, the more you're going to literally be like, well, what I have to say isn't worth it. Like you will decide that, and then you're going to create more and more times of getting spoken over. Girls aren't book smart. These are all really good. So what the science is the brain learns neuroplasticity, and it's repeatedly like firing off neurons. Okay. And the neurons strengthen connections. And the emotional intensity that comes up when something happens, like getting rejected or like getting embarrassed, the amygdala, part of our brain, it tags that because it's emotionally charged, and then it sticks and it creates a neural pathway. It creates a subconscious belief. It gets programmed into your creator field. You're now creating your life from the identity of I'm not good enough or I'm not chosen. And it's affecting everything, every area, all the time, running a just constant film in your life, constant replay. Okay. So that's why you can vividly remember like really random specific times, like being embarrassed at school, or like, but not like you can remember being embarrassed at school when you were like 6, but you can't remember what you ate for breakfast 3 days ago. You know what I mean? Or if you're like me, you eat the same thing every day for breakfast and you can't remember. But if I didn't, I would not remember. So it's why you remember when, like, I still to this day remember in 6th grade, someone, I went to go sit down at lunch and someone pulled out the chair from behind me as like a joke. And I was so embarrassed. The whole room of at lunch turned and laughed, and it's like the whole class of 6th grade. And I was so embarrassed. So I literally started to think like, okay, I can't be seen. Like no one can look at me, or else like everyone's gonna laugh at me. And that's something that even came up when I first started this business. I was like, it's so embarrassing to be an intuitive. Like nobody can know. I'm like, well, Allie, if no one knows, how will anyone know? And come take your class. So it can affect so many areas of life. So here's how this connects to self-image. If you repeatedly experience criticism or rejection or failure, your brain wires those things into your identity, and it says, this is who I am. This is who I am. And then you continue to prove to yourself that's who you are, because you believe that that's what happens in life. Then what happens in life is your proof to prove that your brain is right. Even though no one's right, no one's wrong, it's just whatever you believe to be true is going to be true. That's all it is. And the brain is a prediction machine. So it starts to predict. It starts to go, if this has happened before, then it will happen again. So that's what then you think, well, if this has happened before, then I can't take that chance or risk now because it will happen again. Now, part 3 of this is of our neuroscience foundation is something called the default mode network in our brain. It's called the default mode network. Little parentheses, you can put identity loops. So the default mode network, think of it as like a storyteller that's in your head, a lovely storyteller in your head. But here's what's going on is this storyteller doesn't care if the story is true. It cares if the story stays the same. It wants the story to stay the same. Default mode wants the story to stay the same. It's like, it likes to repeat the same stories. They're like addicting. It's kind of like addicting and nice. Who's been addicted to a story, right? Like my story addiction right now, if you would like to know, is I have so much to do all the time. So much to do. Feel bad for me, Justin. Be nice to me, right? Like last night in bed, it's like 12 a.m. I'm like wired because I get all these ideas and then I got to write them down or else they go away. because I can't remember because they come to me just through intuition, like they all come to you, right? So I'm like complaining then. I'm like, oh my God, it's 1 a.m. and I'm not asleep and Justin's still awake. I don't know why. Probably because I was awake. And I'm like complaining and I'm noticing, oh my God, I have this like addiction to this identity of like, feel bad for me because I work all the time and I'm tired, but I'm not even tired because I love working. So it's like but it's like this story that's running through my head. And I mean, I notice it all the time with that, but last night I was like, oh my God, like here it is. Right. So what's a story that you have going on and on and on? And it will repeat these stories over and over again, even if those stories give you hormonal imbalances, even if those stories give you make you get fired. Even if those stories keep you from getting committed to a relationship, it will keep repeating those stories, even if those stories like hurt you, essentially. So you had a self-image of like, I'm the shy person, like no one notices me, your little inner storyteller in your head will be like, see, you were too shy again. You're always shy. You did it there, 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 and there, and you're going to do it there. And because the brain loves consistency, it keeps telling that story, which makes it harder for you to act differently, even if you want to. How many times have you like prepped yourself? You're like, okay, I'm gonna go in to this social setting and I'm gonna act differently and I'm gonna be confident. And then you get in there and you feel like you want to crawl into a hole and die. That's happened to me like all the time. Like in high school, oh my God, high school parties, I was so socially awkward. Maybe you wouldn't think that about me because like I was really good at like trying to not be, but like internally I felt literally so socially fucking awkward. And every time I'd like hype myself up before going into like a basement party, and then I'd get there and I'd be like, wah, 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 and want to go hide in the corner. So I want to know in the chat, what story do you have on repeat right now? And what do you think that's manifesting in your life? Let's see here. Not special. My body doesn't work. Bad digestion. Victim of toxic people. Momming is hard. I'm always dead tired. Stories I feel pain all the time. I can't sell anything. There's too much to do. Okay, really good. Pay attention to what you're saying. We're going to use these a little bit later because we'll touch on this later, but what's happening is these stories are now creating little thought bubbles around you that are called thought broadcasts. We're going to get into what that is later, but just take little mental note of that. Thought broadcasts are what now other people are thinking about you too. What you're thinking about you is what they're going to think about you. We'll get to that in a second. Always overstimulated. I have to fill in whatever but first before I get what I want. Oh yeah, that's a good one. No one ever picks me. I'm a single mom. That's why it's hard for me to be where I'm at financially. Okay, these are really good. Really good. Okay, keep those on the back burner. So, long story short, the default mode network, it activates when your mind is kind of resting or you're reflecting on yourself, okay? And it's again, it's like a little storyteller and it's like it has a story just on repeat over and over and over again. And its job is to create a sense of who you are. Its job is to create just a sense of who you are. The identity loop that's playing. Okay? But again, it does not value the truth of who you are to soul level. It values the consistency of who you decided you are based on what's gone on in your life, which is usually limiting. So that means it would rather keep repeating a pattern that's familiar, a limiting story, like I'm always the one left out or whatever it is, than create or adopt a new expansive one, which is, I'm magnetic, everyone wants to be around me, blah, 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 blah. So, and that one's even more true because that is the truth. Why would source create your soul to be not enough when source is perfect? Like it doesn't make any sense. We're going to get into that part later. Okay. So the self-image connection again with that is where your self-image lives is in the that part of your brain, right? It's in the storyteller part of your brain, the default mode network part of your brain. And then it goes, see, this always happens to me. And then you prove yourself to be true. And then that's the script because you've proved it. Now you've created an ingredient to work against you. And ingredients are for everything. Ingredients are for having a shitty life, and ingredients are for having a good life. You can have ingredients to have someone break up with you. You can have ingredients to have someone commit to you. Like they work both ways. And so now you're creating ingredients to work the opposite way of how you actually want it to work. Okay. And the more this loop runs, the more real it feels and the harder it is to imagine a life outside of it. That's why even for some people, getting themselves to a class like this today is really, really hard, not because they don't want to do it, but because their brain is going, well, that won't work for me. Nothing's worked for me before. Why would this work for me? Like, even though they're feeling an intuitive pull, you have a brain program running of like, oh, I don't know. Right. And so it is really, really hard to make a difference when this is going on and when you don't know this is going on. This is also why you might feel like you know better consciously, right? Have you ever like yelled at your partner or someone and then you're like, why did I do that? Like I know so much better. Like all that I know about communication and emotional mastery, and I still will like have my times where I'm like rude to Justin. And then I'm like, why did I do that? Like I definitely know not to do that, right? Like why did I do that? Because what happens is you default into old patterns emotionally and behaviorally because your DMN, it is just replaying. It's running on replay, the script of your identity. And that's what happens, right? Like for a really long time, this was like years ago, like this, probably like the first and second year of our relationship. I was getting a lot of reflections from Justin of like, I didn't feel attractive. So like, he never told me I was attractive. And I would get actually, I'm like, you didn't tell me that my dress looks good. And I would like actually get mad at him. I knew better and how to communicate better. My brain didn't care. It was going to just react like an 8-year-old who didn't feel like she was pretty, right? And so that's what's going on. It's why you respond to things and then you're like, why the fuck did I do that? Or why did I think that way? That's what's happening. Now, part 4 and the last part of this foundational neuroscience for today, obviously there's lots more ways we dive into these and shifting these later, right? But in the glow formula, but part 4 for today, because we have other things that are very fun to get into, is now how this shapes reality. So part 4 is how all of this shapes reality on a neuroscience level. So your self-image does not just stay in your head, it leaks out of you. Not just into your creator field, but into your body language, right? Your shoulders are hunched, you cross your arms, into your face. If you're worried how other people perceive you, you're just going to start to get wrinkles on your forehead. There's many other reasons we get wrinkles everywhere else, but that's one of them. Into your voice, how you sound. How many of you have been like, have you ever been super confident talking and then you go in front of like that one person who you've decided is smarter than you or like cooler than you and then you forget how to speak words? That's also what happens. And what happens is other people's brains, here's what's happening. I'll explain it on an energetic level, but here's what's happening on a neuroscience level. Other people's brains pick up on your own insecurities through something that's called mirror neurons. And what's going to happen is their brain is going to copy your brain without even trying. It's wild. You heard me talk about reflections before. This is the neuroscience explanation of reflections. Their brain is going to copy your brain without them even knowing they're doing it. So, if your self-image says, I'm not valuable. I'm going real basic here with like things we're saying. I have way more like intricate ingredients we're going to program later. But if your self-image says, I'm not valuable, you might have your shoulders hunched. You might look down more. You might speak softer, like not even care to share your story, right? You're going to like somehow start to shrink yourself. Your body's going to take shape of that feeling. That's where the somatic movement comes in later. People are going to then respond to that by treating you like what? Like you're not valuable. And then your brain goes, see, I fucking knew it. But no one's right, no one's wrong. You're going to create a reality that you believe to be true. It's not that you're right, that you're not valuable. That's just what you believe is the truth. But if you shift your self-image to, I am magnetic, I am more than enough, everyone wants to hear what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to change everyone's life today just by being in this room. If you believe that, and we'll get to how you believe that later, you will literally have your shoulders back more. You will speak with more confidence. You will have no problem like walking into a room and not worrying about how you look or whatever it is. And people will do what? What are they going to do? They're going to mirror that back to you. That's why when you change how you see yourself, the whole world changes around you. What do you think this manifests? I would like to know in your life. I want to know, let me get more specific. What's like a story you've had and it's been manifesting, you don't like it, and you're ready to shift it? I want specifics though. Not making money for my business for 8 months, no matter what I want. I can't do anything wrong or anything right. I come last. I never get what I want. Oh, these are so good. Thyroid issues, pregnancy symptoms. I'm a boring mom. Oh, these are so good. I'm a failure. Acne, weight issues, being ignored or broken, skin issues and allergies, hair loss. So good. Okay, great. Hang on to all of these. These are all really good. The bottom line, your brain is like a computer. It's been running the same program for years. The game is your self-image. If the game is set to I'm not enough, you will keep playing that same level over and over and over again. But what's really cool, and what we just talked about, is that your brain can download a new game. It can go to a new level. And that's what we are going to do today. We are going to rewire your self-image. That is what rewiring your self-image does. The brain is always, always working to confirm your self-image. That's right. That's why rewiring it is the foundation. And once you shift the internal like operating system, everything external around you reorganizes. You literally get to shape matter. You have the power to change the matter around you.